Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 31, 2025. Government has confirmed that its various disaster insurance facilities, which could result in a payout of nearly $279 million, have been triggered by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Minister of Information Dana Morris-Dixon gave the confirmation during this morning's press briefing at Jamaica House.
Over the next few weeks, we'll get more details into what the payout is and all of that, but they have been triggered, and as the info comes, you will get it. But what's important to note is that we're not dependent on the insurance payouts, because we do have readily available as a part of the contingencies fund, which we budget for every single year. We have $5.3 billion in that. And in our disaster risk fund, our national disaster risk fund, we also have another $1 billion Jamaican, these are Jamaican dollars, that is ready to be mobilized. And so please rest assured that the government has some access to immediate funds.
Yesterday, the Minister of Finance, Favour Williams, explained that the country had two potential insurance payouts under the Caribbean Catastrophe Insurance Facility, CCRIF, $91.6 million for tropical cyclones and $37.3 million for excess rainfall. The catastrophe bond, otherwise called CAT bond, has a payout of up to $150 million.
Additionally, we do have loans, contingent loans from our international partners. And so from the IDB, we also have a contingent credit facility of US $285 million. So you can see if the layers are exhausted, you can see how we can continue to the next layer.
Meanwhile, financial and other support for disaster recovery continues to come in from Jamaica's regional and international partners. Yesterday, the Minister of Finance received $200,000 worth of relief supplies from the Cayman Islands at the Norman Manley International Airport. Delivered by the Premier of the Cayman Islands, Andre Ebanks, it consisted of approximately 1,500 packages containing cleaning supplies, tools, hygiene products, generators, batteries, and other essential items. It is the first delivery as part of a package of aid support from the Cayman Islands, totaling $1.2 million. Cabinet has established several Hurricane Melissa recovery subcommittees to coordinate a comprehensive response following its meeting on Thursday. The details were revealed by Information Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon at the Daily Update press briefing this morning. Ministers Desmond McKenzie and Daryl Vaz have been tapped to co-chair a Relief and Recovery Oversight Committee. Other members include Ministers Pernell Charles Jr., Matthew Samuda, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, Favour Williams, Kamina Johnson-Smith, Ambassador Audrey Marks, and Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon. Minister Morris-Dixon also informed that a subcommittee of churches will be mobilized by Minister Olivia Grange.
This is going to be the priority of the government, and we have to have all cabinet ministers with all hands on deck to treat with this. We have never had a Category 5 hurricane in our country. The devastation on the West is unimaginable. And so after Cabinet met yesterday, several committees are now working.
A subcommittee for the private sector has also been activated, and their first meeting was scheduled for 4 p.m. today. This is being co-chaired by Senator Keith Duncan and Ambassador Audrey Marks.
The private sector is very clear that they need to step up to the table. Meetings have already started along with other ministers in terms of addressing the immediate need in communities. What is more important, that it is a public-private NGO aid agencies, a coordinated, structured approach that is data-driven, that ranks vulnerable communities, that ensures that we're getting to the areas of greatest need, that ensures that there's a delivery mechanism in place to get there in a timely manner.
Due to the break in communication in hard-hit areas, Minister Robert Montague is being tasked with coordinating a plan to help individuals get in touch with family members or get information on them.
Flow has indicated that they're going in with charging devices so that people can charge their phones and they can get some signal. We're also working today to get into at least the police stations, getting them Starlink as best as possible, and also getting them some fuel too, so that we can, and generators, so that communities and members of the community can go to the police station.
In very sober news, the authorities have now confirmed 19 lives lost due to the passage of Hurricane Melissa. In addition, the Information Minister Dana Morris-Dixon says there are also credible reports of 4 bodies in Westmoreland and 1 in St. Elizabeth that need to be retrieved.
We do not count the numbers until the JCF has been able to go to the site and retrieve the body and confirm it. So we're still at 19 confirmed, but we do expect that that number will change today. And when the number changes, I will let you know. These are Jamaicans who we're so devastated to know that they have lost their lives. Every single life that is lost is a huge tragedy.
She says the government is doing its best to retrieve the bodies and provide support to those families that need it.
And I ask for everybody to just pray for those who are in these affected areas. Pray for those families who've lost their loved ones. It is never easy to lose a loved one, but to lose a loved one and also to be in this state where all around you is devastation is even harder.
Minister Morris-Dixon adds that a major focus is on working quickly to deliver relief support to save lives. A part of that is getting access to the affected areas, and she advised that the National Works Agency has cleared the road leading from Hanover to Westmoreland. The NWA is also working to clear a road or build one if they must from Westmoreland to Black River, hoping to have that in place by Sunday night. There are now about 7,000 persons in 430 emergency shelters across the island. This as the government continues to assist those affected by the hurricane. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie, who is also the Deputy Chair of the National Disaster Response Council, provided the update during this morning's press briefing.
But again, as I've been saying before, there are many communities that because of the conditions there, persons have generated shelters on their own. And we are expecting that over the next couple of days, we will see a reduction in the shelters and we'll be in a much better position to manage how we respond to those locations over the next couple of days.
Yesterday, the minister stressed that the government had no plans to close shelters despite misinformation circulating on social media. He assured that relief teams were working to deliver food, water and supplies to communities in the hardest hit parishes. Plans are underway for the arrival of 8 to 10 helicopters from the United States government to assist with national relief operations. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says the aircraft will support the transport of relief supplies and medical evacuations in areas hardest hit by Hurricane Melissa.
Big helicopters that have the ability to transfer and treat patients that may need underground treatment, plus of course be able to carry a lot of relief supplies. Not to mention that some of the charitable organizations that are here, the big ones, have their own assets, private helicopters, and I suspect that by end of today we will probably have about 6 or 7 of those.
Minister Vaz says work is ongoing to ensure smooth logistics in the delivery of aid to affected communities.
What we will do with that is to coordinate between the JDF, who will be overall in charge of the flight operations of those helicopters, and of course the non-government organizations who are anxious to get out there, and of course the government's response through Ministry of Labour and Social Security and other arms of government to make sure that we have a smooth logistics trying to get into as many communities as possible at the same time or in succession.
The minister reveals that the Norman Manley International Airport NMIA has already received 13 cargo relief flights, not including private and commercial aircraft, with more than 20 additional cargo flights expected today. As it regards the Sangster International Airport, which sustained damage to one of its terminals and other infrastructure, this will reopen for commercial flights at 7 a.m. on Saturday, November 1. The airport was also temporarily reopened on Thursday to accommodate relief flights.
That allows us to get out all of the persons, the tourists especially, who are here and need to get out, and also more access for commercial and relief supplies, persons who want to come back in to help and persons who want to go out.
Minister Vaz says the country will continue to operate from all three of its international airports to support both relief efforts and regular commercial travel. The Ministry of Education says schools in areas that are not badly affected will reopen on Monday, November 3. Portfolio Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says she's aware that a lot of schools are still without water and electricity, even in places that were not badly affected.
We're doing the assessments and we are looking at an emergency plan. I've asked Senator Marlon Morgan to work primarily on this emergency plan because we're going to have a plan for children in Westmoreland, in Hanover, in St. Elizabeth, and in St. James. And so we are working through that.
Meanwhile, the National Education Trust, NET, has launched a Hurricane Melissa Disaster Recovery Schools Needs Survey and Recovery Fund. This is to ensure a targeted and efficient rebuilding process, mobilizing the global community to help with these efforts. School leaders are asked to urgently report all damage or losses related to buildings, grounds, furnishings, equipment, and essential learning materials. And finally, the Ministry of Health and Wellness says it will be mobilizing public health inspectors across the island to do assessments of food facilities where contamination from floodwaters is suspected. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton highlights that food-related diseases are very possible, and the team will be out to ensure that the integrity of the food chain is maintained.
The team will be out in the field right after to examine and to ensure that the food supply remains intact, and they do have the law on their side to protect consumer safety. They, under the law, have the authority to seize and dispose of foods that they suspect is contaminated.
Meanwhile, Minister Tufton says mental health support is being provided through the various helplines to help persons deal with the trauma they have experienced. Dr. Tufton is urging persons to call 888 New Life. That's 888-639-5433 or 876-838-4897. We're
encouraging persons to use the lines if you need to talk to someone. We have members manning those lines on standby, and we'll provide whatever support that we can give.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.